What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to Your Ex-Drinking Buddy. My name is Brennan Tassif. I'll be your host. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. Check out the merch store at brennantcomedy.com/merch-store. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. We'll put the shorts up there, the full video, the whole thing. Thank you so much for listening. I love it. I hope you love it. Subscribe on Patreon, too. We do bonus episodes. I do Tales from the Restaurant, where I talk about celebrities I've waited on and whether they're assholes or not, which is super fun. Also, we do a pre-show banter for my other show, Cheers from the Press Box with Joe Dorville. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on over there, too. Make sure you just subscribe everywhere, just all over the place. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're not leaving the mean comments, thank you for that. Maybe leave a couple nice ones.
Grab me a beer and grab him a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy.
Yes.
I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do, hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do, hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from the Upper West Side, baby, Mike Geary.
Yeah.
What up, dude?
I was just thinking about how if we were drinking and doing blasters, that intro would be so much better, you know?
Be a little crazier.
And now I'm just like, yeah, it's good to be here, bro.
Great.
You know,
Just happy to be here.
got a full 8 hours sleep last night.
There you go.
Woke up, did my meditation. Yeah.
Before we get too far into anything, plug
sorry.
everything up front. Social media, anything like that you got going on.
Wow, I don't have much to plug other than I'm a stand-up comic in New York. I have an Instagram. I don't know what
There
it
you go.
is.
You don't?
I'm not really. I'm doing shows in New York. Maybe I'll have a conversation with Brennan after the podcast about stepping up my.
Well, we'll link everything. I'll
Okay.
link everything in the
Okay,
show
yeah.
notes. So
I
just
got
check
some
out the
stuff.
show notes.
Check out the show notes to see what I'm up to. I'm doing comedy in New York City.
There you go. I wanted to have you on. We've run into each other quite a few times
Yes.
with the mics and stuff like that.
Yes.
You've become a very good friend.
Yeah.
Also sober.
Also, yes, sober.
Been
Yes.
sober for a while. Sometimes you and I will have. You're like my go-to. You're like my sponsor
Yeah.
outside of my sponsor kind of guy.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say Yoda, and I was gonna be like, "Fuck."
That makes me Anakin.
You're bringing the.
Fitting.
You're
So
bringing
I'm
the H.
Vader.
You're Vader. I always wanted to be Han Solo, dude.
Yeah, everyone wanted to.
Oh, just me?
Breaking news. You
Oh.
wanted to be the coolest guy in the movies. I want to talk about it, though, because...
Yeah. Sobriety, yes.
well-
I've been so, yeah.
We're going to get into sobriety and stuff, but before we get too far down that rabbit hole, I want to talk about how you even got to New York, how you got doing stand-up and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I say it all the time with my guests.
Yeah.
Comedy is such a niche thing.
Sure.
Like, even though, like, we'll meet people and they're like, oh, I love comedy. And you're like, who's your favorite
Sure.
comic? And they're
Yeah.
like, Robin Williams. And you're like,
Whoa.
oh, you don't actually watch comedy.
Yeah.
So for you, how did you even find stand-up?
So so for me, the first stand-up I ever saw was Eddie Murphy Delirious.
Okay.
And
That's the red one, purple one.
where he's wearing the red.
Red one.
Yeah, the red, yeah. And my buddy Fred,
How old were you?
I don't know, man.
You were like
Younger.
a kid, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 11 maybe,
What?
12, 13, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I didn't get all the jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
If you haven't seen it.
Like, I really like the I want my ice cream, you know? But, yeah. Anyway,
So you saw that and you were just like, oh, this
I
is
saw
awesome.
that and I was like, that's amazing, you know? And then, you know, it just had an impact on me. But I wasn't like, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
It was more like I just want people to like me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
People pleasing? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so I remember.
We're going to throw a lot of AA terms out at you today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had what's called low self-esteem.
That's just for us,
Yeah,
right?
another way.
You guys don't get that, do
Yeah,
you? Regular
yeah.
people?
Have you ever not believed in yourself? That's what I had. I'm not a doctor. But
I don't know what medical science
I don't know
calls
the
it.
terms. Both my parents and my sister are therapists, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, anyway, but that's
God.
neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Dude, we have a we're going to go off the rails.
Yeah, we are.
But so anyway, yeah. So didn't pursue stand up.
Yeah.
And then tried to be like
What was your thing? Like, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in outside of Los Angeles.
Okay.
In what's known as the Valley.
I know the Valley, yeah.
Yeah. The if you don't know the Valley, before the internet, do people aside to the camera? How does it work?
I mean, I talk. If I'm like, oh, I know that, but they might not know that, then I'll turn to break
People
the
do
fourth
not
wall.
know the Valley.
There you go. You're getting it.
And this goes for you too. If people do not know the Valley, anybody
Out there?
This is, we had what's called video pornography. That was us. This is before the internet. Pornography
The Valley
was
was known for that.
well, that's where they shot it all.
Yeah.
And that was us, before, the internet and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
not you specifically, like your house.
not me. I did have friends, though, whose parents would rent out their houses to them.
Yeah, because that was a big thing. Because I
You
have
could make money that way.
Yeah, I have friends in LA, obviously doing this, and then people that grew up in LA,
Yeah.
and they would always reference
Yeah.
the houses in the Valley.
Yeah.
is where they would shoot porn.
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
could get a pretty penny if you were like, you could
use my house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pornography used to be super industrious in the sense that it made a lot of money,
100%.
and then the internet came out and just ruined it.
Wrecked it. Yeah. The
Parents can't rent their house out anymore.
no. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's all I know about us. I wasn't really in the porn game,
Yeah,
but I know it was going on.
you knew it was around.
I knew it was around. And
So you grow up in LA.
Yeah.
And what was Mike's thing? Like when you were growing up, were you like, I want to be a rock and roller, or I want to do this,
So
or
I
I
had
want to do that?
I had like two groups of friends.
Yeah.
Right. Because I had what's called I didn't know who I was.
Again, another technical
It's called
term.
you don't know who you are. So that's yeah. You guys ever had you don't know who you are? So I I had this, and
Rare condition.
Yeah. And so I had like groups of friends that were like athletes.
Yeah.
Guys I went to school with. We played a lot of sports, and then I had like friends that were like in a punk band and like art, doing
Yeah.
art. And so I had, and never these two shall mix. But
Never
I had
shall they meet.
this dual thing going on, and I felt like I belonged to both of them.
Yeah.
And
So it was like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed. You were like two different fucking people, man.
am I Leo?
Yeah, you're
Then
Leo.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's exactly what it is.
Where he's talking to him and he's like, okay, so you were like in the high class neighborhood during the week, and then you went to visit your father on Southie during the weekends. I bet you had two different accents, didn't you? You were two different fucking people.
I was
I'm Mark Wahlberg in this.
Yeah, it's 100%. Wahlberg crushes in that
Yes,
movie. And
so good.
I love when Alec Baldwin goes, you want to have a cigarette? What do you, help that? Go fuck yourself. Yeah, it's so good, dude. The
You don't smoke? What do you? Go fuck yourself.
You go fuck. Oh man. That's exactly what I was. So
Yeah.
I was that, and not really knowing how. Like you don't know, man. You just know. Like I liked having friends, and like.
Were you getting good grades in high school?
I was not a star student, but I wasn't like. I was getting like B's.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't into doing studying or working. I was really into what's called television. I like to watch television a lot.
You heard of it?
Yeah, and I like to not work.
Yeah.
But I was able to like.
Are you a good test taker?
If I study.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because this is something I find in our certain circles is that it's a lot of people who are like, oh, like, because for me, I can only speak to my experience, but it's like I hate busy work.
Yeah.
I actually did better in college when I first got there than I did in high school.
Yeah.
Because it was like 2 papers and an S and like a
Oh,
paper,
yeah,
or excuse me, 2 tests and a paper.
100%.
And I was like, oh, this is way better than.
Yeah. If it's between, do I have to really know facts or can I bullshit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And my major was political science and history, so it's
Okay.
all like history was easy because as long as you knew kind of the beginning of the story and the end of the story, you could kind of just weave the story together.
Yeah, your interpretation.
Yeah,
that's how.
and then you're like,
that's-
this is
that's,
my.
That's politics.
That's exactly what politics
in this
is.
election year. Weaving.
You know what, Mike? I am so glad you brought it up. No, but so. That's why I ask is because I know a lot of people in our circles where they were like, yeah, I was good in these subjects, but not those subjects, that kind of a thing, because we're more creative, less analytical.
100%. And I actually don't look at it as more creative. I mean, I guess it's a nice way to look at it.
Yeah.
You know, like I look at it more like I didn't do any preparing, so I'm going to come at you with this magic. yeah. And, you know.
See what I did there?
I kind of was paying attention. You know, I'm not an asshole in class.
So you were like.
So I was like that. I would say, because now that I'm sober, I don't like taking tests because, like, if you're going to fail any test, you're going to be like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, and you
I have no excuse.
Yeah. But, in sobriety, you're like, well, you just got to read the shit.
Yeah.
You know, and then you just buckle down and do it. But you don't. But I'd rather write an essay. 100%.
Absolutely. So you do pretty well in high school.
Yeah, I'm not a troublemaker.
Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to get to that. So when did you start like drinking?
I started drinking in high school, but just like beer.
Okay.
You know, like it. You know.
Was it early or was it?
No, I mean, whatever. You know, you would be drinking like.
Well, see, you say that, but I
you're
was
writing it down.
I was. Well, no, because I take.
What the fuck is this, dude?
I take
beer.
notes.
You're cocaine. You're just fucking right.
I take notes so I don't have to re-listen to the whole episode when I go to write the thing up.
Yeah,
but
well, I don't like it.
Well, I don't like it.
I don't like.
How does that sound?
I don't like conversations where you write stuff down right after I say it.
As we're recording the whole conversation.
That's neither here nor there, dude.
I can't see it, so
No, I
well, because I wasn't popular. I was bullied a lot. I didn't have a lot of friends. So
thought you were a fucking collegiate athlete.
I was. I didn't get popular, and the listeners are sick of hearing about this. I didn't get popular till I got to college.
Did you guys know he played football in college?
They are very aware. But I was bullied a lot in high school.
What drew you to football?
My dad.
I love it.
Yeah, I grew up in. My dad was from the Midwest, and everyone played football. And then when I was a kid, he was like, "You're gonna play football."
Oh, you didn't have a choice.
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
fucking crazy.
And
really?
I hated it when I first started playing, which I've told before. But I was like, "Oh, this isn't fun. Like I'm getting the shit kicked out of me on the field, and then I was getting bullied off the field. I was like, I hate everything about this. I just want to play video games in my room."
You wanted that alternative friend group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
and he's like, take this ball and run up the fucking middle.
And then I hit my growth spurt as a senior in high school, and then I was like, and then I was like, oh, this is fun now.
Yeah.
When you could throw people around, this is fun.
Yeah, I think that is
up
one
until my
thing about
senior
sports.
year.
When you're good at sports, it's a lot more fun.
Up until my senior year, I was like 5'8", 5'9", like 210 pound, like a little roly-poly fat kid. And then I turned into 6'1", 230, and I was like, oh, we're having fun now.
Yeah. It's the same story of Michael Jordan.
Yeah, same thing.
You guys are,
We're like two peas in a pod. But I was interested in this because I find it fascinating, like whether it's you or me or Emma Willman or Joe List or Josh Edemeyer, like when I have people on who have had struggles and battles with sobriety, and some are sober, some are California sober, some people are like, doing whatever. When I have those kind of people on, this is what fascinates me is like, we know how it ends.
Yeah,
because you've been sober for many years.
Yeah.
But what fascinates me is
not good.
How does it start? And you're like, oh, I was in high school just drinking beers. And it's like, how do we get from drinking beers with your friends to everything's wildly out of control?
I'll tell you what, I would have to do, because so like high school and college, drinking beers. I was just getting blackout.
So you
drinking
were
beer. I was doing that stuff.
in college as well.
Yeah. But I was like, because of my B average, I went to junior college first 2 years,
Okay.
which was dope.
This is fascinating to me because I had like a C average in high school,
Yeah.
and I still went to a major public university.
Well, you were an athlete, right?
Yeah, but I didn't go like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't get I got recruited to play football, but it wasn't like I was on a full ride.
Okay.
Like, I wasn't like a 3-star recruit. Like I just happened to get into a school, and then that was the only D1 school where they offered me
Yeah.
something to come play football.
Yeah.
But it's not like, what I'm saying is some schools in Florida are much easier to get into.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, I was in
Where you
like
could have like C's and like get good on your SATs, and they're like, yeah, come on in, we don't care.
so like I was in L.A. right,
Yeah.
and so like there's the UC and the state school, and so I could have gotten into a state school,
Yeah.
but it was only the state school there, and my friends went to like San Diego State, and my parents were like,
You're not going to
no,
San Diego State.
you didn't earn that. They're like, we'll pay, but come on,
Yeah.
you know. And so I went to plug for junior colleges,
Shout out Daytona Beach Community College.
dude. Yeah, College of the Canyons,
There
Valencia,
you go.
California.
Boom.
2 years, it was super cheap, and then I was able to transfer to UCLA.
You went to UCLA. You're
Yeah,
a Bruin.
I'm a Bruin.
Not
yeah.
the first Bruin on this show. Cab
Yeah.
Washington, don't know if you know him. Hilarious comedian. Actually not a Bruin, but went and worked for UCLA for a long time.
Okay, well, is one a Bruin if they don't graduate?
Yeah, you're still a Bruin, baby.
I'm still a Bruin, dude. You can get back anytime.
So what? So
Okay,
you,
sorry. Yeah.
No, so you go to college, and at this point, you're still just like drinking beers, hanging out.
Yeah.
A couple of different friend groups.
Yeah, I'll tell you where it switches.
Yeah. That's. Let's get into it.
I'll
Let's
tell
get
you
into the
because I knew what
nitty-gritty.
you're going for. Here's where things get different. Hospitality. I start
That's gonna be the title of the
yeah,
episode.
yeah.
Where things get
where
different.
things get different. Where I put down the natty ice and the little weed pipe, you know, and I start fucking, you know,
When
I
did
start
you-
working in restaurants.
When did you first start in restaurants?
So I started. Well, I had a job when I was in high school, where I was like the host, but that was nothing.
Yeah,
that was
doesn't-
like a summer, and that. But then when I was at junior college, I had to get a job.
Yeah.
And
Was that something your parents had implemented, or was that just for you? Because you said your
yeah,
parents
yeah,
were going to
yeah.
cover
Oh,
it,
yeah.
so
They were going to cover my schooling. But
So you
no,
needed
no.
money.
Oh, I had to get a job since I was 16.
yeah,
But
yeah. I started when I was like
as-
14. Yeah,
Just because like that's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're fucking around, you better get a job.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
you can't be fucking around and also be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I need money."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
crushing it, like
Yeah.
if you're like top
Yeah.
of your class at UCLA,
Yeah.
and then you call your parents, you're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I need money," they're like,
Yeah.
"All right,
Yeah.
fine."
I don't think my parents would have. My parents are like fucking old school.
Oh, yes.
Not old school. Like my parents are like super progressive, but like not co-signing anybody's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're like, no.
My dad was kind of like that, where
Yeah.
I mean, both my parents, where we graduated, and everyone in my family was like, they were like, "All right,
Yeah.
you're off to college now,"
Yeah.
and that was kind of like,
Yeah.
"Okay, bye."
Yeah.
There was no like, "Hey, tuition check
Yeah.
is due." Like, no, not like you figure it out.
Yeah, they
Dummy.
they helped when it was reasonable.
Yeah.
You know what? But they were like, this is my dad in a nutshell. I went shopping with my dad when I was a kid, and I wanted to get like a Nike shirt, right? And because it said like Nike Air on it, and
Back to Jordan.
yeah, and back. It always comes back to Jordan. The goat.
The goat.
The goat, dude.
Question mark?
I'm from L.A. No, the goat.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna be.
No, yeah.
Anyway,
What'd your dad say when you asked for the Nike shirt?
so he was like, "Do they pay you to wear that shirt? What are you, a billboard for Nike?" And I was like, "This what?
What?
Dad? I'm just trying to look dope at the party." And from then on, I would only go shopping with my mom.
Yeah.
But like that was my dad's mentality. And looking back on it now, I'm like, he has a point.
He's totally right, and
He's
it's
totally right.
It's so funny because, to your dad's point, I remember, like, because I wear a lot of my merch a lot of the time,
Yeah.
and like I've the hats
Yeah.
behind you. A
Do
lot
you have
of
any
them,
merch for sale?
Yeah, at BrennanTComedy.com/merch-store.
Go get some.
But I remember I walked into a mic, and Daisy Tackett, good friend of mine, friend of the show, she's been on a bunch, back in Jacksonville. I walked into a mic, or a show, and I was wearing my Thick Boy, Your Mom's House, Two Bears, One Cave hat.
Yeah.
I was wearing my Mystic Rick Tom Segura shirt.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and she goes, what are you, the president of his fucking fan club?
Oh,
and I was like, what do
shit.
you mean? She goes, you're a walking podcast billboard.
Wow.
And I was
For
like,
not your podcast.
yeah, and I was like,
yeah.
oh my God, I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just repping, and I paid like $50 to get this stuff.
And you really wanted it, and it made you feel good to wear it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm just giving free plugs to everybody
Interesting.
else. So you get,
But that's like who you
Yeah,
were?
that's-
Anyway.
that's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm always repping
You're a good
something.
guy, dude.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah.
So you start working in restaurants. How did you end up? So you're at JUCO, and then you're like, I need to find a job. And how do you find restaurants?
Is that junior college?
yeah, JUCO? Yeah,
I've never heard that.
junior JU.
No, I get it,
college.
dude. I get it. But in these times, in these
2024. You can't
yeah,
say.
Yeah. The oh my God, JUCO. I've never
You've
heard
never
that.
heard that?
I don't. We never.
It was
called
big in
it.
the football world.
We called it.
because you would go
yeah,
JUCO
yeah.
before you'd go.
Yeah, to get better.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, that's funny. JUCO. Yeah, we would just say community college.
Okay. Valencia, baby.
Dude, Valencia.
Here we go.
Wow. Those were the days, dude.
Those were the days.
There was an In and Out right there.
Oh, come on.
You had the dude. It was right. It was a freeway. It was my house, a freeway, and then JUCO.
There you go.
And then on the way,
In and out.
In and Out. These were good
These
times.
are the good times.
They were good times. Simpler times.
Did you start off as a server?
So I did. So I started out as a server for California Pizza Kitchen.
Get out of town.
Yeah,
In
CPK
California?
in California.
How old are you at the time?
I'm 20.
Okay, so you've been in
So I've
school
been
for a little while.
I had another job also when I was at junior college, JUCO. Which was I worked for the county as a lifeguard, but like a pool lifeguard.
Yeah.
Dude, it was a cake job.
Why did you leave that job?
Well, because
aged out?
I was.
You showed up there like, Mike,
dude.
where are your abs?
No,
Get
dude.
out.
It was not Baywatch by any means, dude. There was no slow motion running. Like, dude, there were some old lifeguards.
Yeah?
But it was such a good job because it paid well and it didn't ask a lot.
Yeah.
And but anyway, and in the off season, you just worked as a lifeguard in the summer, and then the off season you would work at the office doing like administrative stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And it was just the pay was great. Anyway,
So why did you leave that?
because I transferred to UCLA.
Got it. So you leave
So
that,
so I left that. So I had to go and get a job.
and you're like, you know what? California Pizza Kitchen.
Dude, bro, like in growing up in the valley, like that was nice. You know, like that was like, hey, that's where you would take a date, like
Yeah,
if you really liked
yeah.
her. You know.
It's funny you say that because I worked for Outback for like a decade.
Oh yeah, you know.
It was the same thing though. When I first started working for Outback in like 2006,
Yeah.
it was still kind of like a steakhouse.
Yeah, steakhouse,
Like we
yeah.
made everything in house, all the dressings, everything.
Yeah.
And like people laugh at that now because they see it for what it is now. Because in 2010 they went
Yeah.
public.
Yeah.
And as soon as they went public, everything went into the
Yeah.
shitter. But when I first started there, they only had like 4 steaks on the menu. Like it was like a real legit
Wow.
place. And
Did they
now
have the bloomin' onion?
yeah, always had the bloomin'
Always
onion.
had it.
But they just had like one 12-ounce sirloin. They had like 2 types of strip, 2 type of ribeye,
Yeah.
and the filet. And then it turned into like we're gonna have 3 types of sirloin. You know, we're gonna have like a $9.99 combo meal kind of a
they
thing.
went like the
and-
TGIF route.
Yeah, exactly. So I understand what you're saying when you're because CPK, everyone
Yeah.
thinks like, oh, it's like a chain now. But
Yeah.
back then,
Well, it was a chain then, but it was.
But it was
in my 19, 20-year-old mind, I was like, I'm in the fancy zone.
Yeah,
you know,
this is
like,
the
hey,
spot.
dude, I guess who went to 2 years of junior college and is now ready to step it up. You know, like, and so anyway, I got fired
from CPK.
from CPK.
How?
Well,
How long were you there? What?
I was there about a year
Okay, serving.
and serving.
You
yeah,
walked
'cause
right
I
into serving.
Yeah, because back then you could do a thing. I think you could do it now. I mean, everything's different post-pandemic, but back then you would just say, my sister's boyfriend at the time told me to just say you worked at a restaurant for 2 years as a waiter,
Yeah.
and that restaurant's no longer open,
Okay.
you know? And so yeah.
You had that brain way before you even started doing that stuff.
Yeah. And so I was like, cool. And so
I'll just lie.
yeah, and so I went in there and like, you know, I've always been like a social guy. So I just nailed the interview.
Yeah, of course.
Because I was just like, hey, like.
We're good at that.
Yeah. And so I had no
You
experience.
walk in and you're like, what mic do I have
Yeah.
to be for this interview?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. And to be honest, you don't really need to know how to wait tables to wait tables.
No.
You don't. You just have to.
You have to be very good at certain things.
Depends.
But, I mean, you're absolutely right. It depends. Because, like, where
Yeah.
I'm at now,
Yeah.
like, you have to, like, we're a lot of career servers. Like, everyone's pretty good, like, really good at their job.
Well, if you want to make more money,
Yeah.
If you want to make more money and be at a better place, you definitely do.
But if you want to just work at, like, a Chili's or something, you could
Yeah.
you could have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah. And even like, I always tell people who come in and are nervous about waiting tables, I tell them, they don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's like the truth, because everybody just thinks you know exactly what you're doing.
There's so many times where our chef will be like, all right, this is the special for today. And because we are corporately owned, like I never
Okay.
say the name of the restaurant I work
Yeah.
at, but it is a corporately owned restaurant.
Yeah.
It's a small, like the corporation is gigantic, but
Right.
our actual wing
Yeah.
of it is very small.
Yeah,
because
they
we only
have a big umbrella.
Yeah, we
Many,
only
yeah.
have a couple locations. So we kind of get to do what we want on the side.
Yeah. That's nice.
But sometimes chef will come out and he'll be like, this is the special. And then I'll ask like a couple random questions and he'll be like, ugh, and then give me the answers. But then you can twist that into like,
Yeah.
our special tonight,
Yeah.
so special.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know, the reason why this is special is because we dry age it twice as long. Cook
Yeah.
it with the bone on.
Yeah.
And literally, he'll walk out and be like, it's a bone-in strip.
Yeah.
And then I'll, like, weave
Yeah,
it
you
at the
gotta-
table. Yeah, like, because the table doesn't know. And what I'm saying is not a lie. It's true, but I'm just hyping it up
Yeah.
way more than, like...
Well, also, people seem to want to hear that.
Yeah, they
just
love
don't,
it.
They don't want to know that what they're getting, they're going to be upset they spent money on it.
Yeah. So
That's
people
all
love
the-
it when
yeah.
I remember we did truffles one time and I asked chef, I was like, where are they from? Because it's a good restaurant. Like we get good
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
but sometimes, you know, he's just like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
ordered them. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
And I'll be like, where are they from? And he'll look it up and it'll be like Provence, France. And so then I'll go to the table and be like, we have these beautiful black truffles from the south of France.
Yeah.
And they're like, ooh. And really, chef was like, I don't know. I fucking ordered them.
Yeah.
They're Cisco truffles. I don't fucking
Yeah,
know.
right,
But
yeah.
you play it up
He's
to the
got,
table.
Like, all the so much shit, and he was
Yeah.
he was there at 8 a.m.
He's like, I
chopping
don't give a
fucking
shit.
scallions.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
So for you lie, but you realize very quickly, like, oh, I can do this.
yeah, and so I mean, it was very easy.
Yeah.
It's not like it was an easy job, except for this. So they had what's called.
We talked about that. I forgot
sequences of service.
until we talked about. Well, I
Yes.
forgot we had talked about this before.
So
yeah.
like you had to do everything at every table. You had to be like, you had to go to the table and you'd be like, good afternoon, my name is Mike, I'll be your server today. Can I get you started with an IBC root beer or a Calistoga mineral water? And it was called suggestive serving.
Yeah, you had to like hit certain checkpoints.
You had to hit, and then you had to hit 12 at a table. 12, bro. And
That's
so
a
then,
lot.
dude, it was crazy. It was like early AI, dude.
Yeah.
Because it was like, because then you'd go, okay, great. Well, I see you're looking at the menu. I don't even know how to do it because I never did it. But like, you'd be like,
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, but, you know, and then you'd pick out like a fucking, you know, we got the sesame ginger dumplings if, you know, you want something to snack on while you're deciding you know, it's like
Yeah.
crazy, dude.
Which is funny because I don't know if you have this, but in the restaurant industry, I will do that without you asking me to do that as my boss.
Right, but if
I
you're-
will
but if
tell
you're-
people like
Right.
this is what my favorite is.
Yeah, but
this
that's
is what's
different.
the most popular. But if you're fucking telling me
Yeah.
like push the salmon, I'll be like,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, but that's different. That is totally different.
Yeah.
Because it's not, you know, like, it's like that thing about, you know, you know, you're young, your ego's out of control.
Yeah.
You're not gonna fucking be a robot for somebody.
Yep.
You know, and so.
Who do you think you
yeah,
are?
Yeah, and so I just didn't do that, right?
didn't do it.
Yeah, and I was great. Like people loved me. Like I
Getting
got through like a
compliments,
year.
yeah.
Oh, dude, great tips.
Yeah.
And then one day I walked in there and the guys, they had like a floor plan with the names, and I walked in there and my name wasn't on it, and I was like, oh, this must be a mistake.
Night off.
Yeah, and I go to the manager and he gives me a check. He goes, sorry, man, my hands are tied. And I'm like, what, dude? I'm like the best.
You had no inkling that this was coming?
No idea. And he's like, dude, I'm sorry. My hands are tied. And this is like the corporate thing. And what had happened was.
You're like, I'm the best.
Yeah, dude, in my mind, I was.
Yeah.
I
still
It was
do that.
before the word crush, but I was like, I'm crush. I crush it here. You know?
Am I using
crush.
that right?
Yeah.
I'm crush.
I'm crush. Duh. Now,
crushing.
because I'm fired.
So did he give you any explanation?
Yeah, so he told me. Yeah, he was cool. We were cool. And
so he gives you the check. He says, my hands are tied.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I remember he went like this. My hands are tied. I was like this.
Were you like, what the fuck is happening?
I was exactly like that. And then he told me, so they had what's called secret shoppers, where there's like people that go undercover to do quality control on their staff. I can't believe they do. They definitely don't.
I knew
Nobody
someone,
can afford this anymore.
No, not
They
anymore.
don't-
But
yeah, yeah.
about 10
But this
years
is a
ago,
bad-
I knew
bad-
someone who did this.
Oh, you knew a secret shopper?
Yeah, it was for they would do like grocery stores.
Oh, yeah.
And they would
yeah.
like go in to make sure all the items were placed in
Yeah.
the right spot
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then they would get like 70% off the groceries that
Yeah.
they bought because they did the secret shopping.
It's so fucked up because the type of person that would do that
Yeah.
is already fucked up.
Yeah. They're a fucking rat.
Yeah, they're a rat. They're a spy.
They're a
you know?
narc.
Yeah, they're a narc. You know, it's like, and that's the person you're going to get. Anyway, obviously, I'm defensive because I got scored very poorly.
Yeah.
So I scored 37 out of 100 on the first one. So I kind of must have hit like two
or three, yeah. Just by accident.
I must have been on one, dude. And
I just introduced myself. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that. That's
Yeah.
like when they say on the SAT you
Yeah,
get 500
yeah,
points
yeah,
for signing your name.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know how. Yeah, I should have been like, how'd I get 37, dude? Should be 0, brother.
I'm pushing for 0.
Yeah, and then the next time, and then when you get like flagged,
Yeah.
and so they send somebody in like the next week to directly wait.
Can I have Mike's section?
Yeah, and
Did
17. I got 17 out of 100.
Wow.
But
Did you get talked to after the 37? Because that's one of those things where in corporate, a lot of times they'll be like, hey, come in the office. So you had a secret shopper. This is what you scored.
I probably was, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
it. I was also,
Yeah. So when you started at CPK, was that the...
That
was
wasn't no.
That's
no,
not
so,
where it
no. It
turns?
was, so then I got fired.
Yeah.
From CPK. There I was hanging out with people after. It was like my introduction into like the world of partying after the shift.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going out. And then I started working at another chain restaurant, but it was very much like what you're saying. It was a satellite.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were kind of left alone, and it was in like Brentwood, West LA.
Ooh, that's super
and it was
nice.
a nice area. And
Nice
it was
restaurant?
a nice restaurant. And that's where somebody gave me cocaine.
And you were like...
And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so that was like that of all the restaurants I ever worked at, that was the one that was like the fucking just den of. That's actually not true. There's a couple of them, but
Yeah.
but this was
There's a lot of them
This
that
was
are
the first
dens.
one that was just like everybody on staff just got rad after their shift.
Yeah.
Everybody's hooking up with everybody.
It's like that movie Waiting. If you've ever seen the movie Waiting,
Yeah,
that's exactly
so,
what it is.
Everybody, and you're like, oh my god, dude, I was a loser. Now, like, all these, people want to hook up with me,
Yeah.
and like,
You're 21,
yeah,
22.
you're 21, and you're like, dude, I'm killing
There's
it
the
right
19-year-old
now.
hostess, and she's like, hey,
Oh.
are you going to the party after?
Yeah,
And you're like,
yeah.
you're fucking goddamn
Yeah,
right I am.
Yeah. And
Are
Red Bull,
you going?
Red Bull came out,
Oh,
dude.
get out of
it was
town.
on, dude.
So, are you still going to classes and stuff at UCLA at this
no,
point?
so in a very short order,
As is one to do.
I pull out of all my classes.
You're like, I'm killing it at
Yeah.
this Brentwood spot.
Yeah, and because
And
I
I'm
was
sure you're making
because
good
I was
money.
I was making good money, paying my way.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be, like an actor.
Oh, so that's what
well,
it
that
was.
was the idea. It was
Yeah.
like I'm just gonna be an actor, and I'm not gonna do any of that.
Are you going on auditions
No,
and
I'm
stuff?
not doing anything. No, I think I was probably either an actor or a writer, depending on
Who
when
asked.
you hit me.
Yeah.
Up,
Well, it's funny you say that because I have that bit about it, but I did 2 open mics and then changed all my stuff to Brennan T Comedy. And I was like, oh, I'm a comic now. And then I would do like an open mic like every month. So people are like, oh, you're a comedian? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm a comedian. Not doing anything related to comedy.
There's a lot of that.
I'm working
yeah.
in restaurants,
Yeah.
but I tell everyone
Yeah.
I'm a comic.
Yeah. But you know what? You are.
Yeah.
I mean, who the fuck anybody who says anything.
Yeah.
You know?
I've even after doing like maybe 5 or 6 open mics, I'd still been on stage more than most people in society.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess I am doing this.
Yeah. I would always joke with my tables, and people would be like, "Are you a comedian?" And I'd be like, "I'm an actor."
So when you're in Brentwood and things start to get off the rails, you immediately withdraw from all your classes.
100%.
What
dude.
happens?
I never put that together.
What happens at home?
So I'm not living at home anymore.
No, I know, but are your parents like, what the fuck are you doing?
They're not pumped. They're not pumped, you know?
That's the best way to put it. They're not excited.
They're not,
Did you do the whole spin where you're like, I'm going to be a famous actor?
No.
Or you're just like, I'm out?
I mean, I would say, like, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
You know, like, because at this point, so I have this life of where, like, I've withdrawn from school.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, maybe going to be an actor. And, like, but, like, my life is just working in restaurants and then partying after shifts.
Fuck
and it's
yeah,
just
it is.
so fun.
It's so much fun.
There's just all these bars that you go to all the time.
You think it's going to last forever?
And my dad passes away. So he has cancer. And so
How old are you when this happens?
I'm 22.
Okay.
And
so this is in the height of all of this stuff that's going on.
Oh yeah, in the peak, you know. And
was your dad sick for a while?
no, it came like
I'm sorry,
it was
man,
like,
that's-
oh, thanks,
yeah.
man. Thank you.
You were waiting for that.
Can we Thank you. I've been waiting for that. How's that feel?
I can finally rest.
But like
That's a bit. That's a callback to one of Mike's bits.
yeah, you weren't there.
You weren't at the 1 o'clock.
You weren't at the
Wednesday.
1 o'clock Drew and Peter where we fucking slayed.
We crushed it.
Crush City. So do we have to talk about my dad dying?
No.
But
So your dad dies, passes away,
But
and
so
then
I'm
crushing puss.
I'm an addict. So
For
I have
3 years.
no. Oh. So I mean, those are the days. When, dude, walking into a bar.
These are all just callbacks to your material, but it's so funny that we ended up here, and I'm like, oh, it all makes sense now.
Yeah, just going into the bar. My dad died.
Oh, no.
Oh no. Yeah. Dude, it was amazing.
Just high-fiving your dad.
Just thanks, Dad. Thank you. Yeah. But it was then that it became clear that I had this huge gap between me and my family.
Yeah.
You know, it was around this time that my mom, I had gone to a Thanksgiving, and my mom had said, it's like standing next to a stranger.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, and so like I could absorb these things.
Yeah.
Or I could just keep doing what I'm doing and forget that didn't exist. You know, like,
Yeah.
and so, you know, my sister gets married.
Younger?
No, 2 years older.
Okay.
To an amazing guy. My brother-in-law's the shit. Just a dope, just the best. And I hated him because of that. Like, this is how fucked up I was. I
Yeah.
was like, fuck you, dude. Showing up for my sister.
You think you're better than me?
Yeah, you think you're, yeah. Yeah, he thinks he's better than me. And he totally was,
Yeah.
dude. He was so much better than me because he was loving, great job, you know.
Supportive. Yeah.
Dude,
the whole deal. Yeah.
the best.
Fuck those guys.
Joking with me, not judgmental towards me, just trying to be nice to me.
Sounds like my ex-fiance's
Yeah,
husband.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah. What an asshole. Yeah.
So
Anyway, yeah.
yeah, you're going through all this.
So yeah.
And you're obviously going pretty deep down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And are you just doing booze and coke at this point?
Yeah, pretty much. And weed.
Okay. Yeah.
Weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what
I'm like,
happens?
I never got into the H because
Yeah.
I was like, I like to blast off.
Yeah. Yeah, you
know?
always, when we
know,
text, you
know
send me
what
a
was big
rocket
around that
ship all the time.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
I used to say this thing, are we TTT in it? Are we taking it to the top right now? Like, what the fuck, dude? You TTT in it right now? I used to hit people up with that. Fucking weirdo. And-
That's the new title.
Dude,
Taking it to the top.
You taking it to the top right now?
TTT in it?
And Also, also ecstasy was in the mix.
Okay.
Which was
it's pretty.
What a
pretty
great.
awesome.
I mean, if you If you have a problem, don't.
But if you don't have a problem, stay hydrated, get your vitamin B, and rock and roll.
Oh,
so, what happens? Like, where do you go in life? Like, what's going on?
So
like,
I start doing some kind of like acting things. I start doing.
So you do.
Yeah. I get involved in like.
Your mom's like, "This is a stranger next to me," and you're like, "Yeah, Mom, I'm an actor.
I'm an actor. Yeah, you don't know who I am.
I'm a chameleon.
Yeah. It's so true.
You don't know who I am.
Yeah, you don't know who I am. You don't know who I could be, or what I've been.
Or what I've done.
And so I start doing it's a Second City improv thing.
Yeah,
and
I have Second City. Yeah.
Okay, so I start doing like that school, and like I start getting on stage.
Okay, and
you
this
know,
is in
not
LA?
in like it's in LA. It's not like the big Second City in Chicago.
Yeah.
But I'm in, it's almost kind of like the open mic scene.
Yeah.
Where I'm actually now on stage. I'm on a stage, and I'm
Let's
not
go.
and I'm not doing stand up, but I am doing stuff.
Yeah.
On stage.
You are
And
eliciting a response.
And I love it, and I love it so much that I'm doing like these aren't big shows. These are like class shows.
Yeah.
But I'm doing like coke off my CD cases in my car.
No, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
No, you're
right
not.
before the show, dude. So I get fucking.
No,
yeah.
you're not.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, and I'm.
That would be like doing coke before an open mic.
Dude, can you imagine? Can you? I mean, at least there was a crowd. Like,
Yeah.
we did promote the show. There was at least like 30 people there. But I was like doing shots of Patron, coke, and then getting on stage like.
Yes, and yes,
and all of this. Everybody come with me, and like I was decent, but like the follow through, like I was just partying a lot more.
Yeah.
You're not showing up. I got a commercial agent, and they fired me because I
almost immediately.
not almost immediately. I got I did all right,
Yeah.
but like. One too many can't make it today.
Yeah.
It's like, can't make it, because I just didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And they were just doing a very good job at the one thing that they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shit, man. Can't.
I get weird about that even to this day. Like, I've been hip pocketed by people before, and then they'll be like, hey. And, it's a weird thing because they'll, like, message you.
Yeah.
Like, especially now with texting and everything, is I'll get, like, a text at, like, 3 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, hey, I know normally you're off on Wednesday nights. I got a spot for you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like a garbage spot.
Right.
But you feel like you have to do it. But it happened. The reason I bring it up is it happened to me 2 weeks ago where I was like, oh, I'm actually out of town this weekend. So I picked up a shift tonight and then just haven't heard from them since. And this was like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, am I fired now? Like what?
Right.
Because you feel like you have to say yes to all that stuff.
I would say the answer to that is case by case basis.
Yeah.
And like, what are you being honest or are you lying?
Yeah, that's true. So
And
for
if-
you were just like, I'm not going.
I was lying.
Yeah.
I could totally go. I just didn't want to get on the freeway. I wanted to smoke a fucking bowl
And chill.
And chill. Yeah. And
How I'm sure you don't know the number, but how many until you were like, maybe I should stop putting this off? Was there like,
what do you mean?
like for me, like if I like say no to like one or two things, I go, if I say no one more time, like I'm not going to be associated with this person anymore.
Oh,
Like, did you have? Like,
I would just write it out.
Yeah, you were just like-
I just go.
You're like, yes, no,
we'd
no,
find-
no,
yeah,
yes,
we'd
no,
find-
yeah.
I mean, I felt guilty.
Yeah.
I felt like shit about it, but I would just,
That is a weird thing that
Yeah.
we do. Is like
Yeah.
I'll feel like shit, but I'm
felt
like,
like shit, but
I'm
I
still
kept.
doing
I'm gonna
this.
still
Yeah.
do it because
Yeah.
I didn't know any other way,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to like do the work,
Yeah.
and show up. So then I So then pretty much like so I'm doing that and then I joined this like theater group because I'm
Yeah, you do.
tired of people saying I'm funny,
Yeah.
and I'm serious.
You want to be dramatic.
Yeah, and same shit, dude. Really amazing people that I met and but I was just like my ego was just out of control. And
Were you good?
if I did the work, but I didn't like you have to.
So it's
you're
school
doing
all
theater.
over
You have
again.
to
Yeah,
learn lines,
Yeah.
right? And I would show up, no lines. Like I'd show
Kick in
up-
the door, all coked up.
Yeah, and I was okay if I could kind of get it sometimes.
Boom,
but it-
Romeo.
Yeah, totally, dude. Yeah, just not doing lines, just start doing actions on the stage.
What if we put a sword fight in here?
Yeah, and it was miserable because I didn't do the work.
Yeah,
and so that fizzled out, and then like I had an intervention with my sister and my mom.
Okay.
And
Was brother-in-law there?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't. No, dude, he was working. Yeah,
So
he's a fucking surgeon.
Is he?
Yeah, dude, he's the best.
When does the intervention happen? How old?
So I think the intervention. I'm not very good with the numbers.
Yeah.
It's what they call foggy. But I do know this. I had an intervention. So 35 is when I got sober. So the intervention was about 28.
Okay. So the reason I bring it up is because that's 6 years.
Oh yeah.
Of running and gunning.
Running, gunning.
Yeah. And for those of you listening who are uninitiated, but we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce? It's like 6 months of the lifestyle that we lived is a lot for a person.
Yeah.
So to do it for 6 years, because I always tell people, like, I'm sober now, but I didn't start drinking until I was 18.
Yeah.
And then I got sober at 30.
Yeah.
But like 18 to like 21, it wasn't, I didn't cross the line as we talk about. I didn't cross that line until I was 21. I can tell you the exact summer it happened.
Yeah.
I was dating someone. We were in a long-distance relationship for the summer. I knew she was cheating on me.
Yeah.
So I would drink every day just to be able to get rid of my anxiety to fall asleep.
Right.
And that was the summer where after that summer, I was like, oh, I can't not drink now. Like,
Yeah.
I have to have
Well,
it.
it worked.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. It
worked.
worked in the beginning. And so I was a big...
when I drank, I didn't feel the pain.
Yeah. So in the
Yeah.
But from 18 to 21, I was just like a fun time partier.
Right.
So realistically, my destructive drinking was from 21.
Yeah.
And then I went to rehab at 25.
Oh, wow.
So it was only a 4-year span where I knew something had gotten seriously
That's
wrong.
when you're doing heroin?
I'd only snorted heroin a couple of times, but
Okay,
I was just a big drinking and cocaine.
Yeah.
But I'm mainly a true
You're an athlete,
alcoholic.
dude. I know how
yeah.
you athletes get down.
But yeah, I did do pills and stuff like that. But I relapsed a year later, 2 weeks before my 1-year trip. I relapsed. So then at 30, I officially have like been sober since then. I'm now at 6 years at 36. But I say all of that to say, like 21 to 25, and then I was like, oh, I have a problem. Like I need.
Yeah.
So for you, it's 6 years
Yeah.
before you even have
Yeah.
like this intervention.
Well, you have a problem, but like because I'm bartending and paying my bills and
Surviving.
using my actor skills to show up to Thanksgiving, to show up and
Yeah.
kind of, it's brutal, but it's sustaining.
Yeah.
It's a slow erosion. It's not like a thing where like some friends of mine they get thrown in jail.
Yeah.
Or, like
You get
things that
into
are
an
more
accident
like that.
or something.
Yeah, like a crazy accident.
Like 6 months into like party lifestyle, you get into this horrific accident. And you're like,
So
oh my
I was
god,
able
this is
to, I got really lucky.
That is the problem too. Not even the problem, but that I say it all the time. I think being an addict is kind of like a superpower where you can use it for good, which is
Yeah.
like having 3 podcasts, putting on a one-man show, doing this, but also having a job and doing stand-up. Like then it's good. But
and
then
helping other people get sober.
Service work, baby. What do you think we're doing here, man?
My bad.
What do you think we're doing here? Do you know how many emails I get in DMs? There's only a couple, but hey, that's all.
But all you need is one.
Yeah, that's
all
it.
you need is one, dude.
All I need is one person to be like, "This helped me," and I'm like, I call my sponsor. I'm like, I'm doing more service work than anyone I know.
I love that, dude. That's a great fucking thing to say to your sponsor.
Well, and he's always like, "Did you go to a meeting?" I go, "Well, I recorded a podcast."
So no,
basically like a meeting.
Yeah. All it takes is 2, brother.
Yeah,
yeah.
I got books everywhere, man.
The thing is, the thing that happened to me when I got sober and tried to like tell like lies.
Yeah,
you really know you're doing it.
It's like right in the back of your head.
You're like, yeah, that's not true.
Hey, you're lying to people's face right now.
It's so loud in your brain. You're like, right. It's like happens in the moment where a voice is like, that's a lie.
Do you ever do it where you say it just instinctively and then you go, I just lied to you about it. I don't know why I did that.
Not a lot because I like to keep things close to the chest, but I have done it.
I don't do it a lot anymore, but I never did it before. Like I would just lie all the time.
Yeah.
But now sometimes I'll lie and I'll be like, I don't know. It was 3. I don't know why I said 6.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Oh, I have a voice in my head that says liar when I'm saying the lie to somebody.
Yeah.
But I don't.
You're just like,
You're
an actor. You
I'm
just
an
power
actor,
through
dude.
it.
I'm an
so
actor.
you have the intervention at 28. And then do you?
So then
you said you didn't get sober till 35. So what happened?
Yeah. So then I.
And this whole time, are you still working at that nice place in Brentwood?
No. Now I've gone to the South Bay.
Okay.
And yeah, or shit, man.
Well, the reason I asked
I've gone to I'm in the South Bay.
So you're somewhere else.
I'm in Manhattan Beach, which is like nice.
Shout out Ryan Rosillo.
And it's like a work hard, party hard.
Yeah.
But it's very kind of not who I am. You know, like I don't really fit in very well there.
You're like, the party hard is fine.
Yeah.
The work hard, that's weird to me.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, exactly. The and so so I'm working there, but I'm bartending, and so I'm surviving. And so then, they have this intervention. So I say, I just do everything they say to do. I end up going to this outpatient rehab.
Okay.
It's a couple months. I do it. I appease them.
Yeah.
Because it was hard. The intervention was that'll scratch
your
the
day
old
up.
record.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, you guys aren't okay with this?
Yeah, it was crazy. And my niece was an infant. She was in a carriage, and so when I really started counting days, she was 7,
God.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy, dude. And like my mom and my sister were so like they're not at all judgmental.
Yeah.
Super loving, and just honestly like, we don't know you anymore,
Oh my God. Acting, Mom.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, that's how good I am. You
don't even recognize your own son.
Yeah,
That's how good I am. That's how.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was committed.
Give me the Oscar now.
Yeah, give
Everyone
me the
else
Oscar
go
now.
home.
Dude, it's so true.
How long did you get?
So I got like 2 months in
after that first
at the
intervention?
outpatient. Yeah.
Okay.
2 months because I just did the outpatient.
Yeah.
And did it.
Yeah.
Because they had like piss tests and stuff like that, so you had to do it. Like
I love how you're like, I just did it because you got to do it. And they also had piss tests. And,
Yeah. So there was, you had to.
You kind of had to.
Yeah. So I do it, and then that day, the day of, the counselor's like, she goes like this to me. She goes, "You were really great here." And in my mind, I'm like, I'm special, but they must say this to everybody.
Yeah.
But she's like, you should stick around and, be like a counselor.
Oh, cool.
And I go like this. I go, nah. Nah, I'm going to go buy some weed right now.
Oh, that's what you said?
And that's what I said, yeah. And I really wanted to buy weed,
Yeah.
but I wasn't going to get like Coke.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's the same thing I did after.
Yeah, I'm
like
just gonna smoke weed
yeah.
and then
Just gonna have a couple of drinks. I'll be fine.
And then so like, I mean, I'm trying to like, because this is like, I didn't realize how long this story is.
No, yeah.
The
what it's about.
So then
The show's literally called X Drinking Buddy.
Okay, yeah, okay, got it. So then I'm in like therapy. I have a therapist, and I go to the therapist because I think I have like.
So you started smoking weed immediately after treatment?
That day,
okay.
Before I went home, I got weed, and
Yeah.
And then the thing was the heat's off.
Yeah.
I did it, and so like, I did
cured.
it. Yeah, and so nobody's gonna ask any more questions, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna not be so sloppy with the using.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be better with it, and.
If I had a nickel for every time I've said that, I'm just gonna stop showing up to work drunk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop going to work.
It's gonna
drunk.
be, and I did, start.
Yeah.
But I didn't like participate in like a 12-step program.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing it on my own.
Yeah.
And for me, when I'm doing things on my own, it's not the best. It's not the best.
I feel you.
And so I I just started making concessions, and then all of a sudden, then you're back using again, and
Like you never left.
Like you never left, dude. And what? Why did I stop in the first place?
Yeah, this is fun.
I'm good with this.
I'm having a great
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I know the names of the grapes of this wine. And it fucking, and so, but finally, what happens is, I'm on the west side, California,
Yeah.
and so I have a friend of mine who's doing acupuncture on me, and she had seen me, and she had. And I guess I was like gray,
Yeah. As is one to happen.
As one to happen, I was gray. And she goes, "You don't look good. Come in." And so she said, "I want to treat you. I know you don't have the money, and so I'll do it for free, but you got to get sober." And
wow, that's what did it.
you would think, right?
Yeah.
So I go like this. I go, "Cool." And she goes, "No, you gotta meet my boyfriend at this meeting, and I gotta know that you went to the meeting. He's gonna tell me." And I go, "Whoa, dude! Whoa, dude! That's not cool."
This is Secret Shopper all over
Yeah,
again.
Secret
Don't
Shopper
tell me
all
what to
over
do.
again,
Don't
dude.
tell me what to do.
Tell me. And so instead, and she's like, "Dude, you're gonna like die."
Yeah.
I guess my liver was not good, and so I say, "Well, let me think about it." Fucking moron, dude! Like this free health care. All you gotta do is just hang out with my boyfriend at these meetings, and you're gonna be fine.
Let me think about it.
Because I didn't want
I
didn't want this guy saying where I was.
Yeah.
And
so that whole being in control thing all over again.
and but I was not in a good place.
Yeah.
And
You don't say.
Yeah, yeah. And so I said, "Fuck it," and then I started going, and and I think I just really got lucky that I just kept going back.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be there, and I wasn't
Yeah.
doing the deal.
How long were you going before you started doing the deal?
Dude, I would say like fucking 3 years.
Damn.
Like
I actually have a very good friend of mine.
like I was showing up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I was showing up, and I was
Doing the fellowship part.
You do it, and also like quoting stuff.
Yeah.
And telling people
419 expectations.
Yeah.
I got you.
Who
are you talking to right
but
now?
I wasn't doing it. I wasn't.
Page 167.
I was pretending.
Yeah.
And so, things turned around when I, because it wasn't working.
Yeah, well, and it's funny you say that because I have a friend that I just ran into at this party, this pride party, like last week, and it was interesting because when she was on the show, she had at the time about 3 years, and I'm a big book guy, and so we were talking about it, and then she had mentioned how she didn't have a sponsor, and she goes to meetings, but she doesn't really like do the deal, and I just out of a knee-jerk reaction was like, how the fuck can you stay sober not doing it?
Yeah.
And then didn't even think twice about it. I encouraged, gave suggestions here and there, whatever. I see her at this party. Now, this is like a year and a half later. And she was like, you were right. Like, I started doing it and I did the things.
Yeah.
And now I'm on, 4 and like all this stuff happened. And I was like, oh, I just said that because like I couldn't do it. Like, I didn't know that. And it is
crazy, right?
It's astounding how like, and to your point, to exactly what you're saying is like you were there for 3 years and then you're like, let me try it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
Because I think I had the benefit of failing so horrifically so many times.
Yeah.
Because like if I didn't do it, I would get drunk. And so what ended up happening was I was like, I can't not keep getting drunk. So maybe I should do this stuff that they're talking. So that's why I ended up starting that stuff way faster than a lot of people I know.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. Like,
Yeah.
I mean it's just when it gets too hard, you start.
Yeah.
And
Well, and that's
it's just up to when it gets too hard.
And I joke about this all the time because my someone in my family recently has stopped drinking, and like originally when they stopped, because I check in with them every single day, and originally they were like, I have to go to this party with all these moms, and everyone's going to be drinking, and I was like, you'll get through it.
Yeah.
Like have your outs, set your boundaries, do all the stuff. And then after a while, it's like, oh, this tragic thing happened. I go, well, if you got through the easy stuff,
Yeah.
and but what I say, I related a lot to the gym, where it's like, you know, when you first get in there,
Yeah.
you can't do the barbell, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you get stronger and stronger
Yeah.
and stronger.
Yeah.
Because I used to, dude, if I got a bad schedule, where I had like 3 closing shifts, I'd be
Yeah.
like, fuck it, it's the end of the world. I got to get hammered.
Yeah.
And now, like, close friends of mine pass away, and I can walk through that sober. So it's just so weird to go from like where I
Yeah.
was like, if my manager like gave me attitude, I'd be like, fuck this, I'm drinking. And now
100%.
fast forward 6 years, and it's
Girlfriend.
like almost anything can happen,
Yeah.
and I'm like, all right,
You can find anything, dude.
Yeah.
Dude fucked up
Stub
my
your toe?
coffee. Yeah. Dude.
I'm getting hammered.
This movie sucks. You know, like you can do whatever, dude.
So how did you end up in the city?
So then when I got sober, I had an amazing girlfriend who I wasn't this is like the first 3 years.
Yeah.
And I was sober, but I was not doing good.
Yeah.
And so she hooked me up with this therapist who did this. It was called evocative psychotherapy.
Okay.
It was crazy, dude. And it was actually really cool. But, and because I was sober now, I could do it.
Yeah.
Because before when I was doing therapy, I wasn't sober. So I was just like, I'm great. How are you?
I'm
Yeah,
awesome.
everything awesome. You know, like
Everything is awesome.
You know, not that bad. You know, like it was fucking.
I'm pretty fucked up,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
everything's
yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah. It was fucking.
I don't know if you've ever gotten fucked
Yeah.
up, but it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was crazy, dude. I mean, literally, like, and I was not good, but I didn't want the therapist to know that. I wanted to be like their best patient who's killing
I
it.
have this one guy who's just crushed. He's crushed.
He's crushed, dude.
Just
But yeah, so
that always blows my mind when people are like, "Yeah, I just lie to my therapist."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You're insane."
Yeah. Dude, if you lie to your therapist, tell your therapist the truth.
Yeah.
See what happens, dude. You know what's a good one too? I always tell people, tell your therapist that you think they're annoying. If you do.
Yeah.
Just say it. See what happens.
You
Dude,
see what
it's great.
happens?
It's great because it's never about the therapist.
Yeah.
You know? And the therapist is like, thank God fucking somebody finally told me the
Finally.
truth.
Yeah.
So this evocative psychotherapy thing was really amazing, and so I was sober, doing the deal,
Yeah.
which was very helpful because I'm starting to do things,
Yeah.
and take chances with like being open to doing new things,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm doing that, and that's good, and then I'm doing this evocative psychotherapy where it's like 8 people, and it was really fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And like having my whole family be like therapists and never seeing like this thing.
Oh, that's
like,
crazy.
was
Yeah.
so different, and so
You're like, yeah, I'm kind of doing something cooler than what
Yeah.
you guys do. I don't know if you've ever heard of this.
yeah, yeah.
I'm kind of breaking boundaries
Yeah.
in your realm
Yeah,
of
Mom,
expertise.
is your therapy evocative, would you say? Fuck it, just a little bitch, dude. Oh, my God. No,
What's that? Oh, sorry, you're
Yeah,
not.
just try.
You're
Have
not
you
in
ever
the-
done this? No, not yet? Okay. Well,
it.
it's another way. Yeah.
You know, some say I'm a little bit further ahead than you, but whatever.
I know you've been a therapist for 40 years. But,
do you do evocative?
Yeah. It hasn't ever been evocative.
Has it, Mom?
But it was cool because it was like, so there's 8 of us, and they'd pick somebody to do work. So like I think it was like an hour or 2 hours, I forget. And so like say this week we're working on you,
Yeah.
right? We're working on Brennan, and he's gonna whatever traumatic situation happened in your life, like we don't have to.
Almost dying?
So let's
Alcohol
go.
poisoning?
Yeah, let's go to almost dying, and then you would cast the people in the room as like your mom, your girlfriend.
So you were acting.
and you were acting, and I was finally
This
doing the work.
fucking guy.
I was finally doing the work.
This fucking
I
guy.
knew my lines because I lived them.
Yeah.
But so they did this thing where it was crazy, dude, and I'm embarrassed, to say it because it's like so.
Yeah.
But it's she asked me like, what do you want to do? You know, like after we're doing all this work and stuff like this. And I just said, I want to move to New York and be a stand-up comedian.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah. And so that's what I said to her. And she goes, well, that's what you're going to do. And I'm like, well, I don't know. And so she said,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So they do this thing where I'm on one side of the room and she goes, over there is New York stand-up comedy. And then she gets two people to hold my arms and she goes, walk over there. And they're supposed to kind of like restrict me.
Yeah.
But you just break your arms free and you walk over there and you're like, oh, I see what you're doing here.
I can do it.
I could just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then that's what
Here
got
you
me
are.
here. Here I am.
So when did you get to New York?
I think it's about 8 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you got here, did you hit the ground like I'm doing comedy?
No, dude. No, I didn't actually.
Why didn't you bring that up?
Funny you should say that.
Where? So
I don't know if you know this pattern. There's a pattern in my life. It's called hesitancy.
Yeah.
It's called resistance.
I
no,
think
dude.
they call it hesitancy.
Yeah, hesitancy.
Hesitancy.
Hesitancy. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So you know, like everybody's on their journey, but no, I didn't hit the ground running. I was so terrified to do mics and
Yeah.
and.
Did you ever do this thing? This is what I did when I first moved
yeah.
here, where you'd find the mic schedule.
Yeah.
You'd go to a mic and you would just pace because you know you're not going to know anybody because you
Yeah.
just got here, and you
Yep.
would just pace outside.
Yep.
Hoping that someone would walk by, like looking at a notebook,
Yep.
and you could be like, "Oh, I'm a comic too."
Yeah.
I did that so much, and sometimes someone wouldn't walk by that
Yeah.
I recognized, or someone wouldn't walk by where I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's a comic," and I would just go home.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was
so
like,
what
well,
I
that was embarrassing.
I'm proud of you because what I did was I would go there like a ninja and try to not talk to anybody unless they talk to me, and then I would be like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
And I would go up there. I would do my terrible stuff. You know, everybody would be like,
Who the fuck is this guy?
well, nobody would pay attention.
Yeah.
Everybody's on their phone or nobody, you know. And then I'd be like, that was terrible. And then I would leave. And then I would like, you know, wait tables. And I would go like, I was doing like 1 to 2 mics a week.
Yeah.
Where I could have been doing a lot more. But it was such a terrible experience. But, you know, if you don't give up, you know,
Just keep pushing.
if you keep pushing, you know, no matter how like, you know, fierce your regiment is, you know, you will progress.
Yeah.
And so I began to progress and then began to meet people, have friends, do shows.
Now you sit at the cool kids table.
Now I get to sit at the cool kids table, you know, which
Are you T and T? What is it? Are you TTT in?
TTT in it.
Are you
I'm not. But
taking it to
I
the
feel
top?
like I now feel like TTT in it was bullshit. You
I'm
know?
bringing it back.
Okay. All right. You just
You're coming with me.
You just alphaed me right there, dude. I was like,
No.
okay, I think TTT's bullshit. You're bringing it back? Okay, I'm on board. Let's do it.
Dude.
Yeah, but so I would say, yeah, I mean, dude, it's crazy, but it's crazy to think about. I would have never been able to do it had I not
Yeah.
got clean, you know.
Yeah, it's the same thing with me.
because I would have just not shown up.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to start comedy at 21, but be getting fucked up like all the time, and then still be like, no, this is something I'm going to do eventually.
Yeah.
And then I get sober at 30, like
Yeah.
actually sober at 30, and it's like, oh no, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, and you can be really bad, but keep doing it, and you do. And I've
You get
seen
better, yeah.
myself and other people get better.
Yeah.
You know, and nobody remembers
Nah.
anything. There's just too much
It
out
is,
there.
yeah, and it is kind
Nobody-
of frustrating because sometimes, like, I joke quote people all the time, and it's like they'll be shocked, and it's like, yeah, what do you think? I'm not listening, like, because
Yeah.
you know me, I listen more than most at the
Yeah.
open mics and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Oh, amazing.
But it's also one of those things
the
where
glue.
it's-
He's the glue.
You did call me the glue. Last
You are
time.
the glue at that mic.
But
You're the glue, dude.
It is kind of frustrating though, because sometimes I'll get on stage and I'll be like, oh, I'm the one who always laughs. Now I'm up here, and so no one's gonna like everyone's on
Yeah.
their phones and stuff. And I'm like, fuck.
But be the change you want to see.
Yeah.
You know, like, and what's the alternative? You're gonna fucking retaliate and
Yeah,
just be
please.
miserable.
Yeah.
I think that's the right way to go. And
Sometimes I do purposely don't laugh at people.
well, I
if
mean,
they're jerks.
You are, you know, in recovery.
Yeah.
You are petty as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, it's part of it. It comes with the territory.
Yeah, sometimes
Don't
if
you
someone
cross
like,
me.
if someone heckles me or like talks
Yeah.
during my set or something like that, when they go up, I'm just like,
Oh,
nope.
yeah. Somebody didn't hold the door open for you,
Oh.
dude. I don't even care if your
You might as
jokes
well
are
be playing
funny.
to silence.
Yeah.
Just no one here is laughing, asshole. Dude, this was a blast, man.
Oh, dude, yeah, it was awesome, man.
You got to come back.
Oh my
we
God,
gotta
it was,
hit the stories.
what
The
a
dump
fucking-
sink, the house.
Oh yeah, dude. Those are fucking all
We'll get to
crazy
'em.
stories, dude.
I'd say plug everything up front, but we'll put it in the show notes.
Okay, sounds good,
Since
man.
you don't know what your Instagram is.
I think it's Michael Thomas Geary.
It is.
Yeah, Michael Thomas Geary.
Thank you, everybody, so much.
Thank you very
for
much, dude.
listening.
Thank you so much, dude.
Of course,
this was really
brother.
rad.
This was fun.
Yeah, you're such a good dude.
You're a good dude.
Such a good dude.
Get outta
You know
here.
that, but a good man.
Follow me at Brennan T Comedy on all social media, BrennanTComedy.com. Check out the merch store, BrennanTComedy.com/merch-store, and we'll talk to y'all next week.